Hey, badass business owners, welcome back to the show. My name is Tammy, and if you have a small business that serves your local community, then you are in the right place. Each week, we try to help you grow and improve your business while making more money and putting more money in your pocket. Today, what I want to talk about is copy and improve. And you're probably going, Tammy, what on earth are you talking about? Well, let's talk about this. When you think about your growth and your journey throughout your career and throughout everything that you've done, there's somebody that has blazed a trail before you. Now, I'm not saying that you can't go blaze your own trail and you can't recreate whatever it is you want to create, but let's face it, there's no need to go out there and recreate the wheel. The wheel's already been created. What we've been doing for thousands of years is trying to improve the wheel, to make it faster, to make it smoother, to make it sleeker, to make it not bounce, to make it do whatever it is we need it to do. And we've used the concept of the wheel to create gears and a whole bunch of other stuff. What I'm talking about is the fact that you don't have to recreate that wheel. When you're in your business, there are other businesses that are out there that have already blazed trail for you. And there's other businesses out there today doing a lot of things right. It's really easy to look at your competition and point out everything that they're doing wrong. It makes us feel good. It makes us feel good to point out the fact that they're screwing something up or they're not doing well, or to take advantage of it, even more importantly. Part of how we grow our business is we look at our competition, we find out what they're doing wrong, and we try to say, hey, I can make sure I stand out because I'm not going to be bad at X, Y, or Z. But here's the other thing you need to be doing. You need to be looking at your competition and you need to be seeing what they're doing right, because what they're doing right, you have to improve on, because you have to not only be at their level and copy it, you have to then say, how can I take it to the next level? How can I be even that better at it? But I'm not just talking about your competition. There are other business owners out there that are doing things that can be aha moments and can teach you things. If you run a plumbing business, you might think to yourself, what is this dog groomer going to teach you? You know, totally different businesses, right? But yet that dog groomer might have a fantastic way to tap into their community that you can find a way of how can you do the exact same thing. Granted, very different things, because a puppy is all about love and I love my baby and I want to give my baby the best bath and the best head care. You know, people don't think of their plumbing that same way, but it might be a marketing technique, the way that they dip in and out and the way that they use Facebook to build relationships, not selling the dog side of it, but just building relationships within the community. As a plumber, there's no reason why you couldn't do that exact same thing. All right. So when you're thinking about, borrowing or stealing from your competition isn't just necessarily someone in your own business. It's somebody in a different business. You see, our ego gets in the way a lot. We think that nobody knows our business like we know our business. And that is true. But that arrogance can't get in the way to say, hey, I can't learn from others on how to be a better businessman or businesswoman. You absolutely can learn from other people. They might have a display or something that they do. Let's just say you have a brick and mortar and you go into one of your competitors and they have this fantastic way of displaying something or doing something. You need to have an aha moment going, oh my God, that's amazing. How do I copy it but improve it? See, I'm not about just copying something. Anybody can copy something, but there's a secret sauce, a special sauce that's in your business, and that is you. So how can you put your own spin on things that you see and that you quote unquote borrow from somebody else? And that's what I want you to be thinking about at all times, is what is some of the good stuff that's out there, or what's a concept that's out there? How many times have you seen something that you're kind of like, okay, I see what you were trying to accomplish, but that could have been done so much better. Steal it, borrow it, make it better. I want you to constantly be looking for inspiration. I guess that's what this really comes down to. I want you to constantly be looking for inspiration from other business owners, from other people in your business, not in your business. You could be at the dentist and the dentist happens to do something that really just sparks your eye and gives you that aha moment inside. We get our inspiration when our brain kind of shuts down for a moment and we're not thinking 100% about our business. That's how we see a lot of things. Because if you're like me, you're driving down the street and you see something and you're like, oh, I wish I could write this down right now. Or maybe you are sitting at a doctor's or a dentist or something like that and you have a moment. And it could be something small. Someone could have walked into the dentist's office that had a shirt on that made you think of something and that gave you that aha moment. when I was coming up through Home Depot, one of the early on things is we had this big arrogance that we were the best at it and we didn't want to copy anybody. And there was this phase that I personally went through because I was a young leader and thought I had to I would have these ideas and I would say, oh my God, I want to implement this idea. So I had a great idea. And while I had this great idea, for some reason, I also thought nobody else had ever thought of this idea. This is totally unique. No one else had ever thought about this idea. And I would struggle on how to execute that idea. It wasn't until I started opening up and really studying how to be a better leader and how to become better at what it is that I started realizing that other people had probably taken this idea. They may not have executed it the way I would have executed it, but they probably attempted it or they wanted to attempt it or they tried it. All I had to do is to go figure out how they did it and then say, how can I make that better? Back in the day when Home Depot first started, it would just be a bunch of merchandise that was on these shelves and whatnot. It wasn't the Home Depot that you see today. And at one point when I was in San Diego when I started, and there was this guy that worked in, I believe it was the Balboa store, that he started creating these displays where customers could see how something worked. And he would literally create something that would be a functioning version of whatever it was. It wasn't just taking a tool out of a toolbox. It would be actually showing how this, for example, this plumbing thing worked. Or if I was going to teach someone how to tile, it would be a break down how to tile in stages so that you could actually see it with your own eyes. And we would call them Depot Dons. His name was Don. They called him Depot Dons. And when they started to take off, we all started going, oh my God, that's amazing. How can we make them? And the Depot Dons, as you were, these functioning displays that showed you how to work, would get crazier and crazier and crazier. I remember one time we tried to even create one that had water in it on an end cap where it had water in it and it could show the flow of water as you did different things for the plumbing department. Granted to say that didn't quite work out so well because obviously containing water for long periods of time. They've kind of toned down a lot through the years, but there was this crazy time that it took off, not just from this one store in San Diego to all of the stores in San Diego. And then it caught the eye of everybody across the country. And guess what? Stores from Georgia up to the Northeast, Washington to Missouri, whatever. They all were trying to copy these Depot Dons, but to improve them. So they would see someone create it, and then somebody else would try to say, hey, I can make a better mousetrap. I can do that even better. And that's just one aspect of how you can take this copy and improve on it. There's all kinds of things that you can do that help you improve your business. Like I said, it could be the way they market, the way somebody markets something, the way somebody puts their display out there. How many times have you picked up some advertising that came across on maybe a postcard or even in the value pack coupons and you went, that's a cool idea. I wish I could do that. You're doing it without thinking about it. The problem is when we think about it is when we start pushing back because our ego gets in the way. Or sometimes we don't take a great idea and run with it because we think to ourselves, you know what? I don't have the skills. I don't have the talent. You know what? You don't have to have the skills and the talent. You just have to see what someone else is doing and copy it. Okay? Copy and improve. Just copy and improve. One little tweak to it that makes it you. Put your secret sauce, put your special stamp on it, if you will. And like I said, that special stamp is you. It's like in the online world, when people create things to sell online, there's people that will steal it and copy it word for word or whatnot. And people get all hung up on that. But at the end of the day, it's not the fact that other people, for example, can't teach you how to be a better business person. You probably listen to other podcasts. You probably watch other YouTube channels other than mine. You do these other things, but you continue to stick around and hang out with me because of my secret sauce, my special take on that information. That doesn't mean you give up the other people. It's just you stay tuned with me because I connect with you a different way than what they do. They connect with you in a different way that's also positive. It's all about copying and replacing. When I tell you these stories and give you these nuggets and you run with them, you're borrowing, you're copying that idea and you're running with it. And then you're putting in your secret sauce and what makes it special in your business. So I just want to make sure, because sometimes I run into people and they're so hung up on, well, that's not going to work, or that won't work in my business, or you don't understand, or I can't do that. That works for them. It doesn't work for me. You need to stop. You need to stop. You need to make sure you take your ego out. You take away, I can't hat, take that sucker off, throw it away. You need to understand you don't have to constantly reinvent the wheel. There's people out there that have already blazed a trail for you. The only thing getting in your way is a negative attitude, or you just can't see it the right way because you're so close to it. You need to step back. You need to get your inspiration from everywhere. Everywhere there is an idea, everywhere there is a spark. Sometimes when you have that aha moment and it's out, you think it's out of the blue, it's not. 9 times out of 10, somebody said something, did something, you saw something that sparked one little thing that sparked another. Have you ever thought you go off, you're having a conversation about, I don't know, trees outside. And next thing you know, you're figuring out how you can go do something better with mopping this or that. And you're like, how on earth did I make the transition from trees to that? Because it was a spark. There was something about that conversation that sparked, or something that you saw that sparked, and your brain just went somewhere else. We do that all the time in conversations, where we're in the middle of one conversation and we end up somewhere else. And it was a series of events, a series of thoughts that took us to somewhere else. I know I'm starting to rattle on, and I don't mean to do that, but I just want to make sure that everybody understands that part of this growth of taking your business to the next level is copying and improving. There's nothing wrong with that. Whenever I would have those Depot Dawn ideas for myself, for my own department. I remember at the time I was really big into, I think I was running the paint department at the time. And I had all these amazing ideas for paint, because you can really show off some really cool things in the paint department. And we also had the decor at the time before it got split off. And I would have these amazing ideas, but oh my God, my execution was horrible. My execution, I would have an idea and I would try it and it would just never come out the way it was in my head. And I finally learned I had to use the other people on my team, the other members of my team, to do the execution of my idea, because I would get a great inspiration from something that I saw, or maybe I was talking to a customer while I'm talking to the customer and I realized, oh my gosh, here's another way you can get it. This is exactly how I would get a lot of the paint ones. Is people would ask me the same question over and over and over, and I would think to myself, wow, that would be really cool if I could just show them. And then I would go, duh, Tammy, just show them. Create a Depot Dawn. Create something that shows them what this looks like or what that process is. If I'm talking to someone about Kills Paint, if you know what that is a one covering that you can put on stains and bad walls and stuff like that, so the paint looks really good afterwards. You put that on first. Well, guess what? If I took a board that I scuffed up, marked up, put marker on and everything else, and then I did half of it with Kills and half of it without Kills, guess what? And then put the paint on, people can see the difference, because one, the thing underneath is going to bleed through, and the other one, it's going to look really good. Bam, there's a Depot Dawn. There's a great idea that I can do. But the next person might come along and say, hey, you know what? I can do even better, because instead of just having one thing, I can show them the difference of when it's got crayon on, someone marks on the crayon on the wall, when someone has a water stain on the wall. They might find 5 things that they can cover with Kills, and now it looks even better. They stole it, they improved it, they made it better. Okay, so it was an inspiration that I had, an idea, then it took off because other people continued to improve on it. And by the way, a lot of those Depot Dawns, here's the funny part, to add one more thing to it, the vendors started catching on. And the vendors started seeing what we were doing in the store. And now you see these professional versions of these Depot Dawns inside Home Depots. And you see them in Walmarts and all kinds of other stores. Whenever you go into a big box retailer or any kind of retailer and you notice that they have working displays of stuff that look really good and really professional and the vendor made it, yeah, that's because of Home Depot. Home Depot went back to these guys and said, look, instead of my stores creating 18 different versions of this, we want you guys to go create one version of this. And I remember one of the early ones had to do with lighting and electrical, and they put the different light bulbs so you could see the different tones of light bulbs so that people could see the different colors of it. And guess what? One of the electrical companies made that, and it went into every single store. So it's just copy and improve. Great ideas all come from somewhere. And here's this display that this big electric company does, and it started because some kid in some department in Home Depot at some point created the first one, and then a bunch of other departments started recreating it and had different versions, and then it became this big thing. So even big companies do it. It's good enough for them. It's good enough for you. And this goes from how you run your business, how you see leadership, how they pay their people. You see this all the time. If maybe you've had inspiration of you've got employees that work for you, and you find out someone else does bonuses for their employees and pays them a little differently, and it's kind of a perk that they give them. Or maybe you're having trouble hiring people, and you notice that some other companies are having really good success with hiring people, and you start to dig in and you find out it's because they pay them a bonus. They say, hey, if you bring someone to me, I'm going to give you $50. If they stick around for 90 days, I'm going to give you $100. And if they make it to a year, guess what? I'm going to give you a $200 bonus. Bam. That's a way to get some employees, because now you're getting your employees to go find good employees, because they're not just going to find you a body. They're going to find you someone that can make it 90 days to a year, because they want that other $100 and that other $250 or whatever it is that you pay. Boom. There's an idea. You take it, you heard it, you run with it, and you go do something. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. I want you guys out there, and I want you to get inspiration from every business that you ever come across. Everything that you see, take it, improve it, make it better, make it yours, put your secret sauce on it, and run with it. And I am really done rallying at this point. I think I got my message across. You know what? Let me know. Reach out. If you got some great ideas that you've stolen and you improved on, and you're like, oh my God, I totally did this. I'd love to hear from you. Just shoot me an email. Tammy@localsmallbusinesscoach.com. Shoot it over to me. I love to hear about it. I love hearing from you guys. You know it. It's one of the best parts of my day when I get a message from you guys. And don't forget, also, if you haven't already, I am making some videos over on YouTube that you can watch as well. You just go in, and it's Badass Business Owners on YouTube.com. Badass Business Owners on YouTube.com. That'll take you straight to the YouTube page, and you can follow us there. And that's where I do a lot of the Knowing Your Business Numbers videos, because they're easier for people who need a visual versus just audio. And with that, I am really out of here, and I will talk to you on the next episode. Bye for now. Hey, badass business owner, before you go, as you know, I'm a huge believer in you knowing your business numbers. After all, it isn't about how much you sell, it's about what you keep. And the best way to grow your profits is to start diving in and understanding those business numbers. To help you on this journey, I have created the Know Your Business Numbers course. We will walk through how to read your profit and loss statement. You'll learn the key calculations that'll help ensure that you're making a healthy profit on all of your products or services, plus a ton of other good stuff that'll help you learn how to use those business numbers to create even more sales and profits. Just check out the link below in the show notes, or visit knowyourbusinessnumberscourse.com. So if you're ready to increase those profits, it's time you start diving into your business numbers.